Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Double Stuff Podcast, where we're double the host, double the topics, double the fun. I'm Alan.
I'm Dan.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Charity.
And we're so glad that you're here to join us today. And our first topic that we'll be talking about as I open up the topic piece of paper is Secret Agents. Oh, I remember this one. It came from episode number 64, Agent 00 Stuffed. You guys ready?
We're ready.
One of my all-time favorite memories with my dad, a bonding thing. We would do...
Oh, like a James Bond?
Yeah.
James Bonding moment.
See what you did there. See what you did there. Dad joke.
Yeah, it was the 7 Days of Bond.
Oh.
And on TBS growing up, they would play all the Bonds back to back to back to back to back, 24 hours a day for 7 days. And that was a fun week.
Let's say that we're part of this, espionage thing, and Tommy Smitherton is our James Bond. Tommy Smitherton. He's having to infiltrate, I don't know, I can't think of any Wichita things that sound sneaky, He's
trying to figure out what they're going to do with the riverfront.
With Century 2?
Yeah, with Century 2. Little do we know it's a diabolical plan and a maniacal person.
They say it's going to be an aquarium.
Yeah.
But
underground, this is big evil lair.
Exactly.
It's kind of like The Incredibles.
Nobody looks under the river.
No, you know where that troll statue is?
That's
the entrance to get into the secret headquarters.
And every one of the keepers of the plane that have been pieced around the city
they're all
some
plants.
sort of
they are all plants.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wait. Okay.
We got a spy
In all
movie.
seriousness, can we make this movie? Can we do this?
That sounds very believable.
The opening dome of the Century 2 opens up.
I'm the Underminer.
I've been under you. Now you're under me.
That was funny to see this giant auger just coming out.
Oh my gosh, I was not ready for that. We are now opening auditions for 00 Stuffed.
00 Stuffed.
00 Stuffed. Whoa, I remember that one quite well. What do you guys think?
That was a fun one.
Yeah?
That's a good throwback favorite.
I think so too. So Dan, that was your first time listening to it.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
What do you think?
No.
Do you think it has promise?
I think it's got potential. I think we need to
My
call.
man.
I think we need to call up the Rockleys right now.
Hey, let's do it.
Tell
Yeah.
them we got the idea for the next Bond movie.
Yeah. And we've talked about that over the years, just being students of story and students of film and things like that, and just how we inherently are learning the movie's formula while we're being entertained. And so we can identify when it's straying from the formula or just, as we demonstrated in that episode, being able to pull it out of the air.
I've actually tried, because you know how we do our scripted episodes sometimes.
Yeah.
I actually tried to write a script based on that.
That's right.
And it sort of crashed and burned. One of the hardest things about writing scripts for us is that it's hard to write a story with just the four of us. Like if we, I know a couple times,
people.
we had Sierra do something or your girls would come in, but like to do a really good story, I need more characters.
Right.
And so I was trying to force it with just the four of us, and I was like, this kind of fell flat.
You got
But I
to do
would
what a lot of
like
audio dramas do, which is just have one actor play multiple roles.
that's
Everybody
right.
plays multiple parts.
Providing that we're good
Yeah.
at throwing our voices.
I feel like we could not pull that off.
I was just at Claire's and I got my ears pierced.
The only way that would work is
Where'd
if
Alan go?
the only way that
I'm
work-
right here. I'm back. I'm back.
You were gone for a moment. We're so glad you're back. The only way that work is if like our Victorian counterparts join forces with us in present day
That's
to
why I
solve
wrote
crimes.
those. That's why I wrote those in there, because I was like, well, if we're ghosts, we can still play ourselves without having to be actors.
I just realized your alter ego was Allison. You went from Alan to Allison.
You just got that. Allison, we got Danielle.
Alice and Danielle will be
Keep
Charlie
up there,
and
Dan.
Sam.
Keep up.
Yeah, Charlie and Sam.
Charlie and
That's it.
Real stretching there.
Oh, man. Very good.
This is why we haven't fully gotten into our acting gigs yet.
Apparently.
Yeah, and one of the things we had talked about, but now we can do it with all four of us, we were like, if we were part of the espionage for, Agent 00 stuff, what will our roles be, in the film or in the situation. So I
Right.
think I'm trying to remember. I think we had already established that Charity would be a double agent because she's pretty good at kind of doing
I'm
the.
a good liar.
That's what you said. She was.
Allison, I heard, was a really good femme fatale. That's what I heard.
It's like she dies at the end. 'Twas beauty killed the beast.
Don't cry for me, Wichita.
It's interesting that Allison had a beard. Nobody noticed.
That's what made her aloof, or
Yeah, more like a loofah.
mysterious.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but we had said, I'm trying to remember. One of us is going to be the hacker. I don't know if that's going to be you, Dan, as the hacker.
That
I was
sounds
gonna
like a
say,
Dan
it sounds
thing.
like Q for me. is
Yeah, that's right.
probably
You were
the-
Q. You were Q.
Yeah,
Yes.
Try to bring it back in pristine order.
that's right. That's right. Don't push that one.
I think it would be kind of cool though to have some of those cool gadgets where it's like it looks like an ink pen, but it's like,
Deadly.
some deadly form of mass.
I remember
destruction.
in the back of comic books growing up, like there was always ads for
Oh, yeah.
like
Like a decoder ring
weird
and
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah,
I always
stuff like
wanted
that.
the watch that was the Dick Tracy watch that
Uh-huh.
was a
Oh,
communicator,
yeah.
and now
Yeah.
we have them, and I have zero interest in
Right.
that smartwatch. So
I sent off for and got back the rear view mirror sunglasses.
Oh,
Do you
okay,
remember
yep.
those?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
they totally didn't work.
no, none of that.
And
stuff.
it was like somebody at the sunglasses factory just took a can of spray paint and just like spray painted chrome. It was all sloppy. There was no clean lines at
That's
all.
right.
Oh, it was terrible.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever. I don't personally remember ever. Oh, I think the closest we had invisible ink.
Yeah,
There
I
was
remember
lemon
playing
juice
around.
thing.
No, but it was something we had. I don't know if you might not remember this. You might have been too young. But when I was in elementary school, we were I don't know if we talked about secret agents or like some kind of cool gadgetry or something. And they had given me a little bottle of invisible ink, and I was all excited. I don't know why. I have no logic of what invisible ink is, but I was like, I can't wait to write invisible messages with my
Yeah.
invisible ink or whatever. But I poured it on the paper, and it's like, I guess it's like that like water resistant stuff or whatever. So like you poured it, and it just kind of just sat there, kind of disappeared. And so I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to write my I don't know, diabolical, nefarious plan with the invisible ink. But I think that's the closest I got to actually having something
Yeah.
in terms of like, spy gear.
Well, if that's how you treated your tools, I'm glad that was the only diabolical tool you had.
I was like 6.
Yeah.
Like,
I know exactly what to do with this. Blah.
I mean, I think if I remember, I think I did just kind of just squeeze it on paper because I had a little fine tip, so I think you're supposed to like write on
You're
it.
the reason why there's a list of instructions
Yeah,
on simple
don't
products.
drink.
Don't use
Don't
your
use-
hair dryer in the bathtub.
Yeah, don't use it in your eyes.
And actually, not knowing me as a kid,
Make my eyesight disappear.
I was.
It worked. I can't see anything. Now I'm scared.
That's terrible.
Cue flashback.
Oh man.
Oh goodness! I don't know if we've veered off or if
No,
we're
we're
still
still
on.
on
Yeah.
topic. We're still on topic. The only secret thing I probably ever did, and I may have talked about this in the last episode, was, back in the 90s when people would pass notes to each other in class.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We got really creative on how we would pass notes. So the note itself, like, if depending on what girl group you were in, you probably had some sort of code.
Are you okay?
You all right?
A scene popped up. Hold on. I just finished watching School Dance, and how they were passing notes at prison was something terribly different. I don't know why.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring myself back. Okay, I'm back. All right,
You sure?
passing
You gonna
notes.
make it?
Yeah,
Okay.
not at prison.
No. Just
No.
just in a classroom. It's almost the same thing.
Yeah,
Okay, so back in the 90s when we would all pass notes to each other in class, you would get really creative on how you would pass notes. So like depending on what group of friends you were in, you each had your own little code. So if the teacher did find your note, they're not going to be able to understand it because there's nicknames and all that stuff.
Like pre-emoji. where you
But
just do
we
all
got
that.
creative in hollowing out highlighters or markers or something. So when someone's like, "Hey, can I borrow your highlighter?"
That was code.
that just meant, "Hey, I'm passing a note to you," and then the teacher would never know. And so then you would unscrew the back and then pull out your little scroll and read the note about, "Oh, Joey sat next to me in class," or whatever. And then you would write your note, put it back in the hollowed out. So I feel like the teacher probably did know, because we're passing the same highlighter back and forth to the same
I
girl.
want a highlighter too.
Yeah.
It's like, "No, you can't have this highlighter. This is my special highlighter." Teachers didn't care, but that's what we did. And we were being very secretive back in like 1998.
Super edgy.
I'm actually still kind of impressed by that though, because I'm sure there were a few teachers that were probably pretty oblivious
how
to
many
it.
8-year-olds think, "Hey, I don't want to get caught. Let me hollow out this marker." We were really, really good back then.
Yeah.
Before their time.
Okay. All right. Well, Dan, why don't you go ahead and pick our second
Let's
topic?
take a look here and see what we got.
What do we got? What do we got?
Russell. All right. This one is going to be coffee versus tea. This is from episode 98, Sweet Tea Mob Boss. Let's take a listen now.
Okay, if we're going classic, coffee versus tea, what's your choice?
I like coffee. I do not prefer tea sweet. I like it unsweet. But on coffee, I've had to teach myself. I've had to learn to drink it black because I love the creamers. The creamers are so good.
Yeah,
you
like it
know.
stopped being coffee a long time
Yeah,
ago, right? You're just
exactly.
drinking tea or drinking
it's
cream,
like
rather.
90% cream, 10% coffee.
Exactly. So I try my hardest not to put any creamer.
I usually have mostly unsweet tea, and then I'll put a little bit of sweet tea, and it's just enough sweetness to where I'm like, okay, I'm happy with this.
That's
Because
interesting.
I don't really want unsweet tea.
I had never made coffee because our family's never done it. I didn't even know how the machine worked, and then I made some and I had Charity try it, and I don't know how strong it was. It probably woke up the dead. So
Put the whole can in?
You mean you're not supposed to do
you're not
that?
supposed to do that? I was wondering why the coffee was so thick.
Oh, the age-old question.
Yeah.
Coffee versus tea.
Oh, yes to both.
Yes to both. I take both for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think probably coffee for me over tea, but I like all sorts of teas and tea and lemonade and but coffee probably. I mean, I could take my wife thinks I'm weird because if I got up in the morning and I didn't have anybody to make coffee for, I just wouldn't make anything to drink for I just don't need it. It's not like anything, but if it's there, I'll drink it and I'll drink it all day long.
Yeah. I was just at the Spice Merchant the other day, fulfilling the pound of coffee that I have through the membership. Anyway, with my youngest daughter, and I said, "Have you ever been to the tea room?" And she said, "Yeah, I have." And so I was like, "Okay, well, we'll just get our coffee." And then as we were getting our coffee, she was like, "Can we go into the tea room?" I'm like, "Of course." So we went through, and I mean, the tea room is pretty impressive. It's packed with all kinds of different styles and sizes of teapots, tea sets, teacups. And, of course, there was a lot of things that she wanted, and I was, no. And she said, "Can we try this?" And it was a box of English black tea called Typhoon, Ty. Maybe Typhoon or something. I don't know either. Anyway, she said, "Can we try this?" And I said, "Sure." So we took it home, and I said, "This you have to boil. I mean, this isn't like our Lipton
Like a
cold
tea
brew."
bag,
Yeah. And it comes, in its own bag. And so she had a mug, heated up the water in the mug, and then put the bag in, let it steep, and then after 5 minutes, it looked as dark as coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And she said, "This doesn't look right." And I said, "Baby, it's because we like our tea watered down." And I said, "So this looks like coffee, which is right. The only reason why our tea doesn't look like this is because we add a bunch of water to it. So what should we do?" And she said, "Add water." And I was like, "That's it." So it was enough to make 2 cups of tea, and it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Did she taste it first the first time? Was it like extra strong, or did you put water in
Yeah,
it before you did that?
that's a great question. So I said, "Why don't you try it with an extra strong just black tea?" Because I mean that's why it's called black tea, because it looks like coffee. And so she tried. She was like, no. And then we watered it down, and it tasted right.
We tried switching over for a bit at one point from coffee to like English breakfast tea.
Yeah.
And you put a little cream in the tea, and it tastes good. It has like, if it doesn't taste like tea or coffee, it's not like a substitute or whatever. But
Right.
I think it's good. So.
Yeah.
I like it that way. I don't know. I never tried it with water though. Like just black tea with like a little extra water and like
A
kinda
lot
cut
of
it,
extra. So we like
yeah.
it to where we can like see through it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, basically they take their tea bag and just do doop, and then they're all done.
No.
It's
We'll let
practically
it steep all the way through because we want all of that caffeine and everything else. But then we'll just dilute it after that.
Do you ever have like a teapot, like a tea set with like the strainer, and you put the loose leaf tea in? And
I
then
got
the
that.
loose tea?
I got that
thing,
for
yeah.
my daughter because she's got not the same daughter. So my oldest daughter, for her birthday, I got her the little mesh ball.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh,
What are they
yeah.
called? They're called something.
Like tea
I think
infusers
diffuser.
or diffuser,
Something
yeah.
like
I think
that.
So, yeah.
Doesn't sound right, but yes,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it's the same thing. And I got her a bag of loose leaf tea, and she's been enjoying that.
Fun.
We have these little cups, and they're Japanese style cups, and they don't have handles on them.
Yes.
And the reason I found out for that is because if the tea cup that you're drinking the tea out of is too hot to hold, it's too hot to drink.
Oh, that's fair.
So that's why they don't have handles, because they don't want you to like burn your tongue and your palate and stuff. But that's very like kind of a
there you go.
traditional, or
that makes sense. Yeah.
So that's actually really handy. It helps
Yeah.
helps not to get burnt tongue.
Yeah,
That's true.
It's
Definitely.
like, oh no. And I have like little sensitive fingers, so it's like iced tea by the time I get to it.
Actually, I was going to bring it up because we were talking about like hot coffee and hot tea. So how you guys like the
Iced coffee and
iced
iced
coffee,
tea.
iced tea. You know, like for me, I think it wasn't until about 2 or 3 years ago I actually had a couple of iced because I don't know. I guess you're just used to coffee being hot, so drinking it cold just feels weird to me. But it shows I only drink coffee, like I said, about 3 or 4 times.
It's
a year.
super popular right now. It
Oh,
seems
yeah.
like everybody's
But
having
it's,
iced
I
coffee.
feel like I don't know if it's really necessarily coffee anymore. There's so much sugar in it. I feel like coffee is an additive. You know? It's like you
well,
want,
that's
you want
if
this,
you can
yeah.
you can still do iced coffee just black. You don't have to do it with milk and sugar.
Yeah, but I figured that's just you're just drinking cold coffee.
Yeah.
Like, so I guess
You're
if you're gonna
drinking
do
iced
cold,
coffee.
If you're go, I guess you're just gonna do that. I guess it would pay to make it special. That way, you're not just brew some coffee, stick it in the fridge, and 2 hours later
Hey,
just drinking cold.
That's
coffee.
cold brew. Cold
That-
brew's
that's
really
cold
good.
Is that basically
yeah.
what cold brew is?
Basically, yeah.
It's just cold coffee.
It's just cold black coffee.
I feel
And
like
the-
iced
Yeah.
coffee is a
The
waste of
idea
money,
is like
though.
it takes
Is it?
away the bitterness or something like
I
that.
think so. I think it tastes good. I actually really
like it
like
too.
it. I like iced lattes. We drink those. Although I'm really bad with sugar, so like the frappuccino, like the frozen coffee
Oh
drinks.
man, it's like
the best.
800 calories.
Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's delicious though.
I know that's the thing.
Mocha's has a Kahlua mudslide one. It's delicious. It's delicious.
Never even heard of
I got
that.
diabetes afterward, but it was delicious.
There's a what is it? Mocha's?
Mocha's, it's downtown. It's off of Doug,
know
or
that
it's like
one.
near Delano.
Actually,
Okay.
Mocha's is right across the street from the public library.
From the library, yeah. It's
Oh,
actually
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I know
it's a
that
huge
place.
pain because you can't
Yeah.
get into it from
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
And it's always
Yeah. From
busy.
one side,
yeah,
yeah.
it seems like it's hopping all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So
Yeah.
we got it the other day, and it's really good. But I got the mudslide, the Kahlua mudslide, and it was delicious.
I think that's the reason why I really love coffee flavored ice cream or
Yeah.
like gelato or something.
Mhm.
I like that coffee aftertaste.
Yeah.
And so in your drinks is basically like getting an ice cream.
Oh, absolutely.
All the sugar.
There's a place over on the west side. It's Shaved Pop or something like that, and it's called Shaved Ice Cream. And it is they have a
Okay.
coffee flavor version. They have a coffee and the vanilla coffee flavor, but it is like it's almost like cotton candy ice cream. So it's like really
Oh.
thin. It like
gonna have
dissolves
to
almost
try
immediately
that.
when you hit it. And the coffee flavor that I had the first time I had it had boba in it,
Oh.
which like the little tapioca.
Yeah, little
balls.
tapioca
I am
balls.
aware.
Which I had never had boba tea until last week, and I really liked it. So
I've never-
now I have a new obsession.
I've yet to
wow.
have it either. There's a lot of things I haven't experienced in terms of food.
The boba tea's fine. I almost choke on those every single time.
I'm gonna
'cause
abstain
I don't know the
from
little
what I say.
tapioca balls are coming up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So they're just kind of like.
Oh, they were good. So give you something to munch on while you're drinking your tea.
Gross. Gross.
That's munching's fine. I just don't want to choke.
Just like suck out of a straw and then like.
Okay. All right. Sarah, why don't you tell these fine folks where they can enjoy our episodes free of boba?
boba free.
While drinking a nice cup of tea.
I do like that. If you want to go boba free podcast, then this is the one to go for. So yeah, Just check us out on doublestuffpod.com, of course. And we're all available on all the podcast platforms. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Double Stuff Podcast. And, of course, on Twitter at Double Stuff P. And that's the letter P.